Woohoo!
Hey, good morning and happy new year. And welcome to another episode of the Fueled Life podcast. And we are excited to be back. And today's topic, talking about balance and this whole myth about balance. And we're really focusing on something that is out of reach. And what our focus today is to bring you into an understanding of what harmony is, not balance, because balance is really a myth, and we're going to uncover that. So I'm welcomed with my co-host, Charlie Collins, and so glad to see you. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year. It's great to be here and glad to be a co host here at the Fueled Life. And yeah, I love that. I'm trying to balance so many things and I've been so overwhelmed lately. I mean, coaching people, it's like, yeah, at least you're now noticing that, balancing so many things or having so many plates in the air and all these terminologies that it's next to impossible.
It is, and I think it's just so timely that we're talking about this topic in our first week back in the beginning of the year. And what is it? Today is the 8th of January 2025. And isn't today the official quit the resolution day, or is that coming up? I know it's in this next few days if it's not today. And you know, it's people have started this process. They set themselves up for failure by thinking that they're going to make this next year a more balanced, equal life. But that's not where growth happens. It doesn't happen in a balanced state. And this is what I want to just really dive into. So tell me a little bit, Charlie, about a time when you thought balance was your go-to, the thing that you wanted to pursue.
It's probably something I heard. I read an article or something like, if you're feeling, uh, something's not working in your life, it's because you're not balanced. And
Right.
so you need to feed it. You need to balance it. You need to, and I don't really know what that means, except that that means, so bottom line is, Stanley, if you say yes to something, you're saying no to something.
Absolutely.
So if I am saying, yes, I need to do this, hang out with my buddies, couple of my buddies more, then I'm probably saying no to being home with my wife and kids, or I'm saying no to doing some practice or working out. You know what I mean? So I couldn't seem to get it calibrated. Is really I, c- and hey, can you do this? Or hey, can you help me over here? And it's yes, yes, because I didn't understand that no's okay too. I was uh I was like, this balance thing kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the idea of harmonizing, um, harmonizing your work, harmonizing your health, harmonizing your personal life in a way that fuels you rather than drains you. Because when people try to balance, like you said, it's like having multiple plates that they're up in the air. And unless you work at a circus, um, keeping those plates on that stick, I'm just amazed how they do it at the circus. And I don't know if there's a trick to it. It's magic to me, but it's not realistic. It's not optimal to try to balance those plates and keep them spinning day in and day out, because that just sucks the life out of people.
Yeah. So there's a thing like the wheel of life. And in the middle, you draw a little circle, right? And then you draw spokes out. And then you write in each one, and maybe relationships and finance and physical fitness and spiritual and service, volunteering. You kind of, what areas of life do you help keep you harmonized, like that you like to give attention to? And then you write in, well, 1 out of 10, this is how I feel in this area. And then you do that, and then you draw. kind of go, okay, 10 you get to draw, because now you want to do the wheel, the outside, and you realize it's all over the place, right?
Right.
So instead of worrying about making it perfect, life will never roll perfectly well, right?
Right.
So you don't want to get 10 in all those areas. Well, if you can, wonderful, but I don't know if there's 46 hours in a day. But I think what I learned was, what's lacking, what's causing some problems, what's is it you're not reaching out to siblings enough? Maybe just schedule once a week a call, do stuff like that, and that'll bring that up, because you can build harmony in that wheel and not worry about having it roll just perfectly through the game of life, because that isn't reality anyway.
Yeah, and I think the misconception about balance is that when life is balanced, nothing's moving. So if your work and life are equal, there is absolutely something that's missing. And it is that constant movement. If you take a river that does not move and it just stays still, it will begin to grow bacteria, bad bacteria, and things will begin to die, because it creates this, it needs this ebb and flow. It's why the ocean is so peaceful and calming when there's not a storm or a hurricane. But that peace is when you hear the waves coming in and then you hear them receding. And when our life is coming in and receding, and it's just a constant movement, that's when energy really begins to flow. And that's when we take the stress off of trying to perform and just experience. And I think that's when the essence of life really comes into play. And that's when it's be more enjoyable. And that's what I want to communicate, and share with other people, because we get sucked into this belief system that we've got to have balance. And like you talked about the wheel of life, it's, hey, you're not going to be on the 10 on everything. And it's enjoying, what are you at 10 at, or even an 8 at? How are you enjoying that, which also brings up the other elements that maybe don't give you enjoyment, that are more challenging, and they cause you to grow. It's in that downside that causes growth.
I Plus, you got to be careful when you're bringing from one, because there's parts of us, parts of life, and what was happening with me back in the day was I was bringing the other one into the next one. And then, you know what I mean? I never was harmonically. It wasn't harmony. It wasn't like I left to work and then I was fully submersed in home. And then I was fully submersed with buddies, or I was out hiking. Maybe while I was hiking, I was talking about problems at work. So I realized that I'm not able to release or just leave each area where it belonged, and then be present in the new area. And once I started to do that better, harmony started to appear. And it wasn't about percentage, how much, it was the quality of.
Right. Right. And the whole idea behind balance is it signifies that there's a perfection. And I say that perfection is the lowest standard. And why is it the lowest standard? Because it is unattainable. You cannot reach perfection. There's always room for improvement. But what happens when we try to balance everything equally and we give equal attention to everything, we burn out, because that is a mindset of, I got to do it perfect. I got to do it right. I got to be everywhere for everyone all the time. And it is so draining. And people come to the end of their day or their week or their month or their year, and they think that January 1 is that magical day, that everything is going to be better this year. It's going to be balanced. And I say, throw balance out the window, throw perfection out the window, and just live life to the fullest and be in harmony with yourself and with the environment that's around you. And hey, if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. Maybe it wasn't supposed to get done. You know, I have a list of things to do, and there's some things that never get done. And I look at that list and I go, that's been on there for 10 years. And it's going to stay on there probably another 10 years. It doesn't matter. I don't have to perform. I don't need to be on that performance treadmill that wears me out. And it's amazing how much stress that really relieved from my life. You know, you can't be all things to all people. You'll just burn yourself out.
Yeah, people pleasers, people, and that really, and that isn't like, again, it isn't like you're a dummy or you have so much fear you can't say no. It's coming from childhood. There was
Right.
something, you know, and that is just like, I don't know. I mean, I can say no to something. I mean, I was working with somebody. I'm like, yes, well, yeah, but that person, if they're some healthy person, you say, no, I'm unable to help you at this time, but I appreciate you thinking of me. And that person's going to move on and go find someone maybe that can. But now I'm starting to understand what, the harmony is of being true to myself, because I won't plug into this stuff if I'm always seeking to please others or not to be. I want to be liked, and that's unbalanced. And until we get true to thy own self, be true, like you said. Why is this even on the dang list? Is it really important? Is it important to my harmony? And when you get into the flow, when like your practice is going well. And of course, seems like we're going to get into this comfort, but that, you got to know harmony is going to involve sudden changes, bad news, and then you got to learn how to adapt. And then what happens though, sometimes I go down one lane too much,
Mm-hmm.
and I drop off a little, and I get I almost said unbalanced, which I do, but really balance for me is harmony. It's like, when four tires on a car, if one of them is unbalanced, so one area of my life isn't running smooth because I've not paid attention to it, I'll feel it in the car.
Right.
So I take it and they take it off and they do something, they put a weight on it, and now it's in line, it's in harmony with the other three. The car's running smooth again.
Yeah. And it's the idea of taking the projects that we have, and sometimes I'll go out in the woods and I'll be cutting on hickory. Hickory is a hard wood and it burns through chainsaw blades like crazy. Well, let's say there's 3 hickory trees that I've cut down and it burns through my blade, and I've got 2 blades out there, and all of a sudden I can't cut anymore. I can't cut anymore with efficiency. Now, in harmony, when I'm in harmony, I'll go, okay, I've got this much cut up. Now I'm going to take and get this stacked up so that I can split it at a later time. And it's not losing my mind by not being able to finish what I went out to do. And this is where we are in a harmony, because what it's saying is that, hey, you know what? You focused an amount of time for this. Now go do something else that is going to also give you fulfillment and enjoyment, and also move that marker closer to where you want to be. And I think that's where, this whole idea of harmonizing our life, it's really overtakes or replaces the mindset of being in balance.
It's kind of like a symphony, right? When they're all in balance, as in they're harmonically, they're creating this flow through each of the performers. They're all connected spiritually, musically, and they're just bringing you, it's like, whoa. I think that is, but it takes, but if you got a couple of people, couple areas of your life that are they're a little bit out of key or something, not only it's going to drag you, it's going to affect you. So you know what I mean? I'm trying to use a parable thingy. And that's what it's like. If I'm ignoring my, like maintenance care of my home.
Mhm.
So maybe that's called organization, but that's an area. That's an area I like to have, because that if I don't, if my lawn's too long, the gardens are good, the garage is dirty, so it's not all of that overwhelms me. It's how do I flow through that? Because if I don't, Stanley, and I just stay and I got to work and I got to do this and that bothers me. So
Mhm.
then I'm pulled out of that feeling, like that position of neutrality, like where things are just flowing, again. But oh, I gotta do this, and I start to fall into this. I
Right.
have to, and life becomes unbalanced. Really, I mean, then I'm thinking everything has to be done right, has to be done on time, and blah, blah, and I put so much on myself. I burn it gets overwhelming.
Yeah, and that's it. You said it. When we're trying to give equal amount of time to everything, there's a phrase that says that we're burning the candles at both ends. And that's when burnout happens. And that's when then overwhelm overtakes us. And if you're getting close to that, and especially, I mean, you're at the 8th day of the new year, and you're going, man, it's just like it was last year. Well, you're the same person if you're doing the same things and trying to maintain the same levels, and you haven't given yourself that ability to recover and give yourself that restoring and not burning out, not burning the candle at both ends. There was a phrase several years ago that gave me this kind of freedom, and one of that phrase was that, as a dad, number one, no, it doesn't come with a manual. So, and I know it doesn't come in with a manual when you're a mom, but as a man, what I had to understand was that I could either be out making money or I could be at home playing with the kids. And when it becomes an either or, that's when I think the stress level really increases. And what I began to appreciate was that I could actually do both. And I couldn't be all or nothing in either dimension. And so having that harmony and having that ability to enjoy the kids. And I was not one of those dad that said, I'm going to make all the money now and then later on I'm going to enjoy them. That was not me. I was enjoying my kids. I was part of their events. I find myself very fortunate to be able to have done that, and going and eating lunch with them. Those were important things to me. They were more important than creating an identity outside apart from them. And I had that balance, and people that knew me knew that. And I didn't even know that I was doing it, but what I did was I gave what I never had, and having that harmony. So you're not going to get a manual. This is where you have the opportunity to say, these are the things that are important to me. And I may not be able to do all the vacations, but I'm going to spend time with them. It's not where I could take them, it's what I could do with them. And that was the beauty of having harmony with them, and having harmony in my life and not burning out, because it's so easy to burn out, to think you got to have this much more is going to make you happier, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, how do we? Well, first we have to shine a light on what seems to pull us. Because the thing I'm giving the least attention to, an area that has to be important, is I'm trying to give it less attention because it's bothering me, and that's why. It's like, so I just, okay, let me open up this box. Let me look in. What do I need to do? Okay. Is it the end of the world? No. I could look at my calendar and give it 30 minutes, 30 minutes, it's important to my business, to my whatever it might be. But for me, it's usually bookkeeping, stuff like that. Banking. I don't like any of that. So I don't, but some people thrive in that area.
Right.
But it's also part of the harmony wheel. I've got to do that. So instead of pretending it's not there, or pretending, no one ever calls me. So why do I got to be the one to reach out? Or, all these, you know, uh, options, but also all these, I don't think of the word, reasons and justifications of why, it's not me, and the only way, Stanley, really to build, I know you know this, it's when I'm working with people, okay, and they're like, yeah, but, and there's not enough time in the day, and then you go through the time and say, well, and then you realize, the person realizes, as they say, oh, you know what, I could take that 30-minute walk a day, because that 30-minute will help connect you to nature, to spirit. It'll pump your body with blood, help your muscles, wake things up. It'll help other areas of your life and help you get back to that harmony.
Yeah, and I know people will say, "Well, I'm already burnt out, so what do I do?" And what I always recommend, what I always give the option is, I ask, "What are your options? What could you do? What is one small step that you could take that would move you forward and give you that nourishment, give you that?" And this is not just food intake, but it does relate to food, because a lot of times when we're burnt out, what do? We go to that source of instant gratification that always isn't the most healthy choice. And it can be binge eating, it could be binge watching, it could be binge just disconnecting. And it's like goes into that all or nothing. And it's just taking a moment and just stopping and taking a scan of your body and go, where am I feeling depleted right now? And this is not just a checklist. It is an inventory that I do throughout my day and throughout my weekend. I go, what is depleting me? What have I done that is
Mm.
depleting me? Have I drank enough water? And I have 3 mason jars that I make the water coherent, and I can talk about that at another time. But I know at a glance where I'm at on my water. So if I haven't drank my 90 ounces of water throughout the day, then I know that I'm going to have some experience of dehydration, not getting my body replenished. And that's just one simple way that I can just stop. And, like I said, and I've shared this before, is that my bedroom becomes my utopia room, and I set it up for success. The end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, I hit the diffuser, and it sets out an aroma, essential oils, and it begins my day with this energy. And it just gives me like, okay, this is how I'm starting my day. And it's just a small adjustment that makes the difference.
Yeah. It is, and I've got to change everything, do everything, fix everything. Can't believe it. It sucks. And blah, 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 blah. It's not that at all. It's a little compassion and empathy for self.
Yeah.
Take a look at, where am I falling short? We all are somewhere. Okay, and that's it. And and because even if it's self care, that reflects on others, because you're gonna show up more present, more caring. You're not going to bring your agenda to everything you do. So and that's what it does for me. And this is once again a constant and never-ending paradigm that I've got to keep looking at, because I am an all or nothing guy, and I got to keep an eye on that. I've got to, all of a sudden I'll lean into playing the guitar much more, and then I don't play it at all. And
Right.
then I'm all into cameras and lighting, and then I'm not doing anything over here. So I just got to keep an eye on that. And keep an eye on these things and don't allow myself to get sucked into. And it's not like I'm getting it. I'm doing it. It isn't doing it to me. It's something I've lost focus. I'm not paying attention, as well as I need to, or not even. I'm not hard on myself. And sometimes I'll laugh. Like I'll go to, no, this isn't guitar time.
Right.
It's okay. If I need to go walk around and come back and sit back down, but don't, because you don't like well, I shouldn't say you. I don't like what I'm doing on a computer, so I'm going to just do something else. And that will not go away unless I finish it. So I'm severing. If I was in the flow, I was experience harmony. Maybe I found a way to get myself out. And then thankfully, I say I'm uncomfortable. I'm blaming. I'm bringing stuff that I haven't resolved into something else, or sharing it with my wife and saying, bah, 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 and, taking her out of the harmony she was trying to be in. And it's like, okay, I see it. Yep. I now step back and I just, take a look at, okay, this is how I can work on that.
Yeah. Charlie, I had probably a handful of conversations at the last week of last year. And one of the recurring themes was, and they did not know that this was going to be our podcast. And, this has been predetermined already. Like I've got certain topics that we're talking about. And it just so synchronized, because that's what happens at the end of the year when people, their companies are shut down for the week, or they take the vacation for the week because there's so many different outings, and they've got a bonus day in the middle of the week, or sometimes two, and they take those 3 extra days for vacation, and they're trying to recover. And that is almost a travesty, that you've got to use your vacation to recover because you've been so overwhelmed. And now you're taking an inventory and go, I'm making cookies for the PTA or the school. And then I'm organizing all the family functions, and I'm making sure all the gifts are wrapped and under the tree, and everybody's going to be happy. And Aunt Sally doesn't like, pumpkin pie. So I got to make sure that Uncle Joe, who likes pumpkin pie, there's a pumpkin pie there for him. And Aunt Sally likes a rhubarb pie. And where do you get rhubarb in December? And it's just like, you go through that and you want to go back to work so that you can put all the time that should be enjoyable to the side. And, it's like you get back into that rat race, and it is burning that candle, trying to be balanced for everyone but yourself. And that is, that's the whole point of this conversation is, hey, let's start the year off afresh, anew, and let's bring to mind harmony versus trying to be balanced. There's no such thing as work-life balance. It's an ebb and flow. It's like the ocean. It's ebb and flow. And when your life does that, we see how well that works for the ocean, and it brings such peace. Maybe if we brought that into our own life, we can go, what's one small step that I can do that will take me closer to the outcome that I desire?
Yeah. I was thinking about rat race. Who win? If you win a rat race,
Right.
what is the outcome?
Right. Yeah.
You're still a rat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know that without thinking, it's a quick. We don't. So decisions best made, especially, are not sleep on it. If you pray about it. If you need to talk it over with a spouse or a partner, do that. But slow it down. Like, it's okay. I mean, in this fast-paced world, and like, oh my God, I texted you 8 seconds ago, you didn't reply. And it's like, yeah, you better make an appointment. But you know what I mean? It's like, let me just slow down, because my purpose isn't to do everything and make everybody happy. Um, and you were saying that about, the holidays, and oh, now I have time off at work, but it takes me 3 days to unwind. And then I pile up 4,300 things I got to get done, because it's so much work and so much, and you're exhausted when you get back to work. You're like, God, that I don't even remember Christmas.
Right.
It's this sucked. And, you know, but harmony allows you to stop work, not need 3 days to recover, because you're working in harmony. You have a good team, you've got balance, systems, processes, so you can come into your time off and really do what matters. Focus on the family. Know that you don't need to do it all. That I watch that in my house
Mhm.
at times, and I'm like, man, this was a really good holiday for us, because we were a much more harmony. We didn't have to save the world or fix everything or be everywhere.
Right. Right. I think it's given ourselves permission to
Yeah.
just relinquish a little bit of that responsibility and focus on what's most important, and in my life, in occupations that I've been involved in and callings that I've been involved in, I've been at a lot of deathbeds, and I've never ever heard a person in their last moments or their last days or weeks say, "Gosh, I wish I would have worked harder. I wish I would have just spent more time away from people." I've never heard that. I've always heard, "I wish I would have taken more time for the things that I love to do. I wish I wouldn't have had so many things that I thought that I was responsible for and just began to enjoy life." And, I had a young man. He was a young man. He had a liver failure. And he said, "I wish I would have just taken more time to pursue the things that made me happy instead of working so much." And it was before he was 40 years old. So, when you look at the fragility of life and you go, at the end of the day, what really mattered? What really mattered is when you can experience joy from something or someone else, or you can bring joy to someone or something else. And that's when you begin to enjoy your life, not as a to-do list, but as a to be. And that's when harmony really takes place.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's maybe a nightly review. And this isn't hard. It's like
Right.
it becomes enjoyable. Like, did I fall through? Did I actually, when I was discussing and talking to people outside of my own head, did I care? Did I, what they see them, hear them, and let them know they're important? It's important to me, and what they say matters. Instead of like, hurry up, get to the point, because I can get like that. Come on, gotta go. Where? I don't know. So, but when I'm in that other space of, and for me, again, Stanley, it's constant. I've got to keep an eye on that, because I am I'll go out and start doing, working on this and that, and I can block out, the things that need attention. And what needs attention, where our attention goes, our energy flows.
Right.
So I need to, for me, take a look at that stuff. Okay, how's it feeling? Am I flowing? And sometimes I got to ask outside of me, closest people, how am I? Am I missing the mark? Am I, you know what I mean? Am I, on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I as a husband? Am I dropping the ball on help and contribute in the house? So, I want to help. And by me, you said it, by me being of service, thinking of others and doing, Well, then joy, happiness flows into my life and harmony happens.
Right. Right. I think that's a great place to bring this to a close, Charlie. You know, it is, hey, this is just the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And if you need help, please don't do it on your own. Find somebody that can encourage you, inspire you, hold you up, and bring harmony into your life and help you see what you don't see. So you can always reach out to Charlie or myself and leave a comment. And you know what to do with this podcast. If you've enjoyed it, if you've caught this afterwards, if you've enjoyed it, share it with somebody and leave a comment. It helps us understand what is it that really inspired you about this? What didn't you not like about it? I mean, we're not going to bring stuff that you're going to like everything about. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not possible. Anyway, we're going to bring you stuff that you're always going to like. But we want to collaborate with you and know what is going on in your mind, in your world, and how we can help enhance and team up with you. So until we meet the next week, this is the first of the year, and have an outstanding week.
And live that fueled life.
Live a fueled life. That's right. And right now, until then, we're checking out. Have a great one.